Welcome to Zarpado. Today we will see a lot of interesting facts that you probably didn't know. From the human ability to smell rain, which is more acute than a shark's ability to detect blood, to the way a child broke the Tetris record after 40 years. Get ready to discover surprising facts that will blow your mind. Subscribe and let's start. Did you know that the human ability to smell rain, known as petrichor, is even more acute than a shark's ability to detect blood in water? The term petrichor refers to the aroma released when rain falls on dry land, commonly identified as the smell of wet earth or the smell of rain. Maybe you didn't know, but the popular pasta brand Barilla has a Spotify account with playlists that indicate the exact cooking time for each of its types of pasta. It's a fun trick you can try to make sure your pasta is al dente. In Japan, there's a travel agency called Unagi Travel, which specializes in taking stuffed animals on vacation around the world. It's so popular that you have to book well in advance, as spots sell out quickly. Imagine the adventure your stuffed animal can have. Have you ever seen a dog that's so skilled at dodging obstacles and sliding in zigzags? This amazing canine has mastered the art of skating with impressive skill. This man is an ascetic monk from India who has planted rice on his own head. He has adopted the habit of sleeping sitting up and can sense when the roots need water by feeling their dry skin. For this reason, he constantly waters himself. When the rice is ready, he harvests it, eats it, and plants it again. An extraordinary commitment to nature. Did you know that there are Doritos with unusual flavors like coffee or coriander? These are limited editions and experiments that the brand carries out from time to time to surprise fans. This is how the gravitational effect of the moon on the Earth manifests itself, responsible for the phenomenon of tides. This phenomenon causes the oceans to expand towards the moon and away from it. In addition, the gravitational attraction of the moon contributes to the climatic stability of the planet, moderating the tilt of the Earth on its axis, which helps maintain a relatively constant climate over time. In Singapore, a company launched a drink called Anything. Each can contained one of 6 different flavors, but you didn't know which one you would get until you tried it. A real surprise with every sip. The largest organ in the world is located at the Wanamaker Center in Philadelphia, United States. This imposing instrument has more than 28,000 pipes. Imagine what Bohemian Rhapsody sounds like on this organ. A few years ago, the curious fashion of making rice balls with your armpits became popular. This trend arose after appearing in a famous Japanese manga. Would you dare to try them? A 13-year-old boy managed to become the first person to beat the game of Tetris, created 40 years ago. For decades, it was believed that only level 29 could be reached, considered insurmountable. However, Willis Gibson broke through that barrier, reaching level 157, causing the game to crash. This was the Sinclair C5, an electric vehicle ahead of its time, introduced to the public in 1985. It was a small electric tricycle designed for a single person with a 12-volt lead-acid battery that gave it a range of just over 30 kilometers. Weighing 30 kilos without the battery and 99 pounds with it, the C5 reached a top speed of 14.9 miles per hour. The Ayam Cemani chicken is a breed of chicken that has surprised people around the world for its completely black appearance. Originating in Indonesia, these chickens not only have black feathers, but also their bones, organs, crest, beak, and legs are black. This phenomenon is due to a condition known as fibromelanosis, which causes hyperpigmentation in almost all of their cells. Ayam Cemani are highly prized by breeders and can sell for up to $6,000, while their eggs can fetch a price of $16 each. Every year, around 27 million tons of dust travel from the Sahara Desert to the Amazon rainforest. This incredible journey, which can last 10 days, carries essential minerals and nutrients to fertilize the Amazonian soils, contributing to the balance of the ecosystem. In addition, it helps neutralize the acidity of the soil caused by rainfall in the region, creating a more conducive environment for plant growth. Some people have the ability to stick their tongue into their nasal cavity, a practice known as Kachari Mudra. This technique has been practiced for centuries in certain traditions. When ancient Romans had to tell the truth in a trial, instead of swearing on the Bible as we do today, they would squeeze their testicles with their right hand. From this ancient practice comes the word testify. In this animation, you can see a speed comparison between different Lamborghini models throughout history. It's fascinating to see how the speed of these iconic sports cars has evolved. Did you know that there is a man who survived 2 nuclear explosions? Tsutomu Yamaguchi was a Japanese engineer who had the misfortune of being in Hiroshima when the first bomb fell in 1945, and then in Nagasaki when the second bomb was detonated. Despite suffering burns, he managed to survive both bombings. Unbelievable, but true. Believe it or not, potatoes and apples taste the same, but they differ in their smell. If you don't believe me, try eating them with your nose plugged. India's national sport called Mallakhamb has been practiced for around 9 centuries. Athletes perform complex routines using a vertical pole about 8.53 feet high, performing postures and movements that demonstrate their skill and strength. It's fascinating to watch the precision of their acrobatics. Mayo is a paper artist. Watch how he designs, prints, cuts, and glues with astonishing precision to create detailed figures. The level of patience and dedication in his work is impressive. This is the world's quietest room, created by Microsoft in 2015. It's so extremely quiet that it can be uncomfortable. Inside, you can hear your heartbeat, your bones moving, and your blood flowing. It's said that being in this place for too long could drive you crazy. The person who has spent the longest time in it did so for 4 hours and 22 minutes. Imagine a mouse pad that you can control with your tongue. This device, known as a mouth pad, is a retainer with a trackpad chip that is placed on the roof of the mouth. It was designed to help people with disabilities operate a computer by moving their tongue. With this custom mouse, users can scroll, type, make calls, and even play games, all with simple movements of their tongue. A group of beatboxers have recreated the soundtrack and sound effects for a scene from Dragon Ball Z, and the result is simply spectacular. The level of synchronization and skill is impressive. This is the dog Gao, who has become a sensation on social media. His name is Prantal, and he has amazing skills. He can ride a horse, drive a tractor, and star in videos that have captivated millions of users online. Diego, his owner, found him alone in the middle of the countryside 7 years ago, and since then, they have become inseparable. Hip Motion makes these incredible animations where he uses Lego pieces to simulate cooking. They are truly fascinating and full of creativity. This man named Omar Barati has kept his right arm raised for the past 50 years. In 1973, he decided to give up his career as a banker and followed the path of the sadhu, committing to a unique penance in honor of the god Shiva and in the name of world peace. His penance consisted of keeping his arm raised indefinitely as a protest against wars. Over time, his bones and cartilage became petrified, making it impossible for him to lower his arm, even if he wanted to. This is the Kola well, located in Russia, and it is the deepest hole ever drilled by humans. It reached an astonishing depth of 40,229 feet. Below is a recording of the sounds heard from inside. It's very scary. This is what a rain cloud looks like from the inside. A skydiver has captured the moment he passes through a rain cloud thanks to a camera he was carrying with him. The video shows how the jumper is filled with droplets of condensation and eventually emerges on the other side of the cloud. This is the new Redmi Turbo 3 Harry Potter edition, inspired by Horcruxes. The smartphone comes with a book with scenes from Diagon Alley, a blue protective case with a hidden Dementor, and the SIM card pin is a replica of the Hogwarts logo. The custom 90-watt charger is designed to charge the 5,000 milliamp hour battery. The phone's design is divided into 2 sections. At the bottom, there are the symbols of the 4 Hogwarts houses, and at the top, fluorescent details of the 7 Horcruxes, along with the Lumos spell and the Flash. The cordyceps fungus is known for its ability to infect ants and take control of their nervous system. Once the ant has been invaded, it is forced to abandon its colony and climb to a specific location. There, the ant attaches itself to a leaf or branch, and eventually the fungus grows and sprouts from the ant's body, releasing spores that infect other nearby ants. This process ensures the fungus's expansion. It's amazing how nature works. This bottle of wine, salvaged from the wreck of the Titanic, was auctioned off and sold for a whopping $1.4 million. Can you imagine what it would taste like? Its history and value leave a lot to the imagination. In Japan, there is a restaurant where the waiters and waitresses suffer from varying degrees of memory loss. Approximately 37% of the time, they get your order wrong, so you never know exactly what you're going to be served. It's a creative way to integrate people with some form of dementia into society. Don't you think it's an interesting idea? In 2027, Saudi Arabia will finish building the first Dragon Ball theme park. Thanks to investment from Qiddiya Investment Company, this park will cover an area of 500 hectares, twice the size of Disney World in Florida. This project promises to be an epic destination for Dragon Ball fans. In Switzerland, they use special bridges to carry out road repairs without interrupting traffic. These temporary bridges are a practical solution that allows traffic to flow while work is being done on the pavement. A South Korean company has developed artificial intelligence that allows people to make video calls with deceased relatives and friends. This technology collects digital files of the deceased, such as videos and photos, and recreates the person virtually so that you can chat with them. In Amsterdam, there are bicycle parking lots called Spark, which transform the energy generated by bicycles into electricity to power the streets and homes of the city. These bicycles convert pedaling into electrical energy through generators in their wheels, storing the energy in batteries. This alternative is ideal for historic buildings where solar panels cannot be installed. On average, Amsterdam citizens pedal 1,240,000 miles a day, generating 19.5 million watts per hour. A bicycle rack with only 30 bicycles can light up an entire street and avoid the emission of 1,355 pounds of CO2 per year. This is what the impressive Chinese train that seems to float in the air and move upside down looks like. It was inaugurated in the city of Wuhan and has 6 stations. Nicknamed the Heavenly Train, it does not rest on metal rails like conventional trains, but is suspended in the air without touching any surface, using innovative magnetic technology. What surprises passengers the most is the glass floor inside the train, which allows you to observe the landscape beneath your feet during the ride. Can you imagine winning $30,000 for completing a video game level? That's what Trackmania offers with its Deep Dip 2 challenge, released on May 4th, 2024. The video game features a 16-story map, and the goal is simple: reach the top without checkpoints. Although the most skilled players in the world have tried, no one has managed to complete it so far. Some veterans have reached the top floor, but they face a vertical surface that is almost impossible to climb without falling. The first digital camera was invented by Steven Sasson in 1975, while he was working at Kodak Laboratories. It weighed approximately 8 pounds and had a resolution of only 0.01 megapixels. Can you imagine taking such a camera on your space travels? Astronauts can't cry properly in space because of the lack of gravity. Tears don't fall down like they would on Earth, but instead pool in the eyes and can form bubbles of liquid that float around. Meet Flexible Eddie, also known as the man with no bones. His incredible flexibility seems to defy the laws of human anatomy. Look closely at how his body moves. It's like he's made of rubber. Blowing out the candles on a cake can increase the presence of bacteria on it by 1,400%. Next time you celebrate a birthday, you might want to think twice before you blow them out. In the city of Changsha, China, there is a store that has become a tourist attraction for a very particular reason. All of its products are gigantic. From potato chips to noodles, everything in this store is colossal in size. Thousands of people visit the place every day to try these unique snacks. In Japan, they have developed a drug that could grow new teeth. By 2030, this treatment will be available to people who have lost their teeth, allowing them to have perfect teeth again. A breakthrough that will change lives. Traffic signs in Taiwan are smart. They are equipped with screens that give you directions, and they can rotate to point you in the right direction. Imagine having a navigation assistant right on your road signs. Thanks to the magic of 3D video, you can now immerse yourself in a painting. Motion technology has created a video where you can experience Van Gogh's famous work, The Starry Night, in 360 degrees. I'll leave the link in the description for you to enjoy at the end of the video. In the Canary Islands, Spain, there is a whistled language called Silbo Gamero. It uses whistling to transmit messages over long distances, something especially useful in a mountainous region where houses are far apart from each other. About 20,000 people have mastered it and use it in their daily lives. We all dream of a house that protects us from the weather, and some homes do so in surprising ways. Sun House 360 homes, designed by architects in Malaga, Spain, are rotating homes that face the sun to maximize solar energy absorption. Thanks to this, they can save up to 70% on energy. I want one of those houses too to save money and show off to my neighbors. Did you know that you can stay in Carl and Ellie's house from the movie Up? In a special collaboration between Pixar and Airbnb to commemorate the 15th anniversary of the film, a replica of the iconic house was created with 8,000 balloons tied to the ceiling. Although these balloons are not what keep it in the air, but a huge crane that lifts it 49 feet off the ground. Humans share approximately 60% of our DNA with bananas. This shows how connected all life on Earth is at a genetic level. This is a Crespin bird, and these are its peculiar dance moves. Its jumps and spins seem precisely choreographed. The famous tomato festival, known as La Tomatina, is held every year in Buñol, Spain. Thousands of people gather in the streets to throw ripe tomatoes at each other in a friendly, chaotic battle. A unique and fun experience. You are about to witness the most innovative way of serving a dish. Imagine how many months and even years of practice it would take to perfect this technique. It is certainly something to behold. A liquid tree was created at the University of Belgrade, Serbia. This project consists of a glass tank containing over 150 gallons of water, microalgae, and a solar panel. The microalgae perform photosynthesis, transforming water and carbon dioxide into oxygen, which is then released into the atmosphere. A creative and sustainable way to help the environment. Check out Lamar's fun business card holders. You can choose from a wide variety of superheroes and villains. An original way to carry your cards. The rare elephant fish, also known as the saw-nosed chimera, is a species of fish that lives in the depths of the Atlantic Ocean. This peculiar fish can measure up to 55 inches in length, has a color that varies from light brown to white, and its most distinctive feature is its elongated nose, which gives it an appearance similar to that of an elephant. Vincent Ball is an artist who works with shadows. He uses light and common objects to project shadows that he then transforms into unique works of art. Here you can see some of his creations. A fascinating way to see art from another perspective. The largest restaurant in the world is located in Chongqing, China. It's called Pipa Yuan, and it takes up an entire mountainside, housing 900 tables and being able to serve around 6,000 people at a time. If you do get a table at the top of the mountain, it can take up to 30 minutes to get there from the parking lot. Despite its huge capacity, it's almost impossible to find a free table without a prior reservation. Did you know that most polar bears are left-handed? Funny enough, it's been observed that they tend to use their left paw for most of their activities, while using their right paw for other specific tasks. At first glance, these loaves of bread look normal, but when you cut into them, they reveal fun character designs and colors inside. A surprise in every slice. Would you believe me if I told you that a 70-year-old woman ran 7 marathons on 7 different continents in just 7 days? Her name is Chow Smith, and she celebrated her birthday in a very special way. From January 25th to 31st, 2017, he ran marathons in Australia, Singapore, Egypt, Holland, New York, Chile, and even Antarctica. In Mocha, Puerto Rico, a man named Luis Daniel Lorenzo transforms lawnmowers into fully functional miniature trucks. These mini trucks are equipped with signals, lights, air conditioning, and everything you would find in a real truck, but in a reduced format. A miniature engineering feat. Do you consider yourself a wine lover? Eric Boschman, one of the most renowned sommeliers in the world, conducted an experiment by tricking everyone with a boxed wine. He bought the cheapest wine in the supermarket, which cost just $3, poured it into a fancy glass bottle, designed a beautiful label, and entered it into a prestigious international wine competition. Amazingly, the wine won the gold medal at the Gilbert and Gaillard Awards. This experiment proves that appearances can be deceiving. Matt Bonner built a 34 by 34 piece Rubik's Cube. The process took him weeks, as he had to 3D print and assemble a total of 6,939 pieces. Moving it is quite a challenge, and who knows who will be able to solve it. Although it may seem like an optical illusion, the Crooked House is a real building located in Sopot, Poland. This commercial building stands out for its unique and surreal architecture, which seems to be taken from a distorted fairy tale. A place that is definitely worth visiting. In Norway, the world's largest ice cream cone was created, with a height of 10.1 feet. To make it, 211 pounds of biscuit, 132 pounds of chocolate coating, 1,080 liters of cream, and 88 pounds of maple syrup were needed. A giant delight. A study reveals that people who go to sleep after 1 a.m. are more likely to develop depression and anxiety. It might be a good idea to adjust your sleep schedule to maintain a healthy mental well-being. Oscar, a cat who lived in a rehabilitation center for the elderly, had a unique ability. He could predict the death of more than 100 patients. Although he preferred to be alone, from time to time he would cuddle up next to a patient, and curiously, that person would die days later. In Lake Maracaibo, Venezuela, an impressive natural phenomenon occurs: thunderstorms. These storms occur 160 nights a year, can last up to 10 hours and generate thousands of lightning bolts, a unique spectacle of nature. The kukeri are Bulgarian dancers who, at the beginning of winter, dress in traditional costumes and go around the villages to scare away evil spirits and attract good fortune. This ritual is a mix of dance, music, and tradition that seeks to protect communities from negativity during the coldest season of the year. You may not have known that surgical lights are designed to not cast visible shadows. These lights use multiple light sources arranged in a circular pattern, emitting light from different angles. This allows that even if an object, such as a hand, blocks part of the light, the other rays continue to illuminate the area, ensuring that surgeons have a clear and constant view of the surgical site. Did you know that panthers are not a distinct species? The term panther refers to jaguars and leopards that have an excess of melanin, which gives them their characteristic black or very dark fur. This condition is called melanism. Although they appear completely black, if you look closely, you will see the typical spots of jaguars and leopards. In addition, there are also white panthers. Google Images was literally created because of Jennifer Lopez. After the singer wore her famous green dress to the 2000 Grammy Awards, so many people searched for photos of her outfit that Google decided to add a specific image search function. Thus, Google Images was born. The global center of the new century, located in Chengdu, China, is considered the largest building in the world. The base of this colossal building is 1,312 feet wide and 1,640 feet long, with a height of 328 feet spread over 18 floors. Inside, it houses an artificial beach of 16,404 square feet. In Japan, you can find public toilets with completely transparent walls. These walls allow you to see inside, ensuring that the toilet is free and clean. However, when you close the door, the walls become opaque, providing total privacy to the user. This is possible thanks to the use of glass coated with a PDLC film, which changes from transparent to opaque with electricity. This is one of the most creative ads I've ever seen. It looks like cars entering the tunnel are being sucked into a giant vacuum cleaner. A very clever way to capture the public's attention. The Carl Strat is a unique vessel capable of cleaning the seabed in a matter of seconds. The boat uses a device that lowers itself to the seabed, forming a capsule that, through an overpressure system, dries the area, allowing workers to walk on it without problems. This work is carried out in Holland to keep riverbeds clean, although workers face very harsh conditions, from the use of compressed air to extreme temperatures. In Japan, manhole covers become works of art. Each city has its own unique and colorful designs, which transform something so everyday into pieces of urban art. Another example of Japanese creativity, Romessa Gelgi, the tallest woman in the world, is 7.05 feet tall and has broken 8 Guinness World Records. She achieved her first record at the age of 10 as the tallest teenager in the world. And she also holds other records such as the woman with the largest ears, the longest hands, the longest fingers, and the longest back. A true record breaker. Flip is a one-of-a-kind ship. Unlike traditional vessels, Flip can transform vertically, sinking its stern and leaving its bow floating. This ability allows it to become an extremely stable research platform in the middle of the ocean. An impressive feat of naval engineering. In just 6 years, a large number of people could stop paying their electricity bills thanks to the neutrino energy cup. This device generates electricity without the need for sun, water, or wind, capturing invisible radiation and converting it into energy. It produces enough electricity to power a house with 4 or 5 people. In the past, there were vending machines called mutoscopes that allowed you to watch small films. By inserting a coin and turning a crank, a series of consecutive images were displayed, creating the illusion of movement. Each film lasted about a minute. Simple but fascinating entertainment in its time. Tenfold Engineering, a British factory, has created a foldable house that can be set up anywhere. In a matter of minutes, this structure goes from a compact cube to a fully functional house. An incredibly practical solution for living. This animation shows how a dishwasher works. Water is stored in a tank at the bottom of the machine, heated to 60 degrees Celsius, and then the soap bar is released. The dishwasher pumps water over the dishes, removing the dirt, and finally, the dirty water is sent down the drain, rinsing the dishes with clean water. An ingenious machine that makes our lives easier. Did you know that the most expensive object on the planet is not a yacht or a mansion, but the Large Hadron Collider, LHC, in Switzerland? This gigantic and complex particle accelerator costs billions of dollars and is designed to explore the mysteries of the universe. It is literally a large-scale experiment that brings us closer to better understanding the cosmos. In North Korea, citizens are required to hand over their excrement to the government to be used as fertilizer. Each person has an annual quota to meet as part of the country's agricultural initiatives. Leah Bartnick is an artist who draws and animates arms in animal videos, transforming their original meaning. You can watch the original video and in the center her animation, which gives it a fun and unique twist. It's amazing how she can change the perception of something so simple. At the Bait football team's stadium, the traditional annual reign of the stuffed animals took place, where nearly 19,000 toys were collected to make sure that no homeless child was left without a gift during the Christmas holidays. A wonderful initiative that unites sport and solidarity. The Shinkansen L0 is the fastest train in the world, located in Japan, and reaches speeds of over 373 miles per hour. This magnetic levitation train can cover the distance between Tokyo and Osaka in less than an hour. Although it is currently in the testing phase, it is expected to enter public service in 2027. Would you dare to travel at that speed? In Brazil, a group of scientists has begun breeding modified mosquitoes that help fight diseases. These mosquitoes are infected with a bacteria that prevents the spread of viruses such as dengue and Zika, thus protecting people. Over the next 10 years, the organization will produce up to 5 billion of these mosquitoes. Do you think it is a good idea to use genetically modified insects to fight diseases? Or should we just let nature take its course? This is one of the strangest watches you'll ever see. The frame of the watch is covered in eyelashes, and the time is read through the space between the fibers. A curious and original design for telling time. Did you know that peacock feathers are actually brown? However, their microscopic structure disperses light in a way that creates an iridescent effect in shades of blue and green. Nature always surprises with its wonders. A day on Mars lasts only a little longer than on Earth, lasting 24 hours and 39 minutes. Here's a graph comparing the length of a day on different planets in the solar system. Interesting to see how time varies on other worlds. In Death Valley, California, there are rocks that seem to move on their own. This phenomenon occurs when thin layers of ice form beneath rocks, allowing them to slowly slide along, driven by the wind. An intriguing natural spectacle. Elaine Davidson holds the world record for being the woman with the most body piercings, with over 9,800. Here's a photo of what she looked like before she became the most pierced person in the world. US dollar bills are not made from ordinary paper, but from a special blend of cotton and linen. This combination gives them much greater durability and strength than conventional paper. So the next time you hold a bill in your hand, you'll know why it's so sturdy. The Erta Ale volcano, located in the Afar region of Ethiopia, is home to one of the few permanent lava lakes in the world. This lake has been constantly active since at least the 20th century, making it one of the longest-lived known. An impressive spectacle of nature. In the early days of photography, people had to remain still for up to 15 minutes to capture a clear image. Photographers in the 19th century used special stands so people could rest their heads and stay still. Today, it's hard to imagine how far photography technology has come. There is a natural phenomenon known as a limnic eruption, which occurs when large amounts of carbon dioxide emerge from the depths of a lake, killing all living things around it. Yet another example of the powerful effects of nature. Before electronic alarm clocks, there were people whose job it was to wake up workers so they would arrive at factories on time. Imagine having someone knock on your window every morning to make sure you weren't late for work. The Vatican holds the second largest treasure trove of gold in the world, second only to the United States. Incredible wealth found in the heart of the smallest state on the planet. Lab-grown meat in the United States is produced by culturing animal cells instead of raising and slaughtering animals. This innovation aims to be a more sustainable and ethical alternative to traditional meat production. Would you dare to try it? In 2014, a match on Tinder occurred in one of the most remote places on the planet, Antarctica. Two researchers met through the popular dating app. How small can the chances of something like this happening be? Chaim Tibble is a Colombian known as the Devil Man. His appearance explains it all. He is covered in piercings and tattoos, and even has two horns implanted on his forehead to look like the devil. A radical transformation. In the vibrant city of Taipei, there is a restaurant with a very peculiar theme: the bathroom. Dishes are served in mini toilets and drinks in urinals. This peculiar concept combines humor and good food, becoming a popular destination for those looking for a different experience. It takes approximately 200 liters of water to produce a single liter of Coca-Cola. Incredible to think of the amount of resources used to make such a popular drink. This is a tornado omelet, a traditional dish from South Korea. Watch how it is prepared. A culinary spectacle in motion. Finley is a dog who holds the world record for carrying the most balls in his mouth at the same time. 6 in total. His skill is impressive, and it looks like he could keep racking up more. So far, the only sport that has been played outside of Earth is golf. In 1971, American astronaut Alan Shepard played a round during his moonwalk, a historic moment for the sport. There is a place in Norway called Seal Island, where at certain times of the year, you can see more seals than humans. This place is known for its stunning landscapes and rich marine life. It's a paradise for nature lovers. The foam on Heineken beer is designed to last exactly 5 minutes, a precision that is part of its design to ensure the best experience when enjoying it. This device allows users to scan their teeth with artificial intelligence technology from anywhere, at any time. A practical and futuristic way to take care of your dental health. Canned drinks can be full of bacteria. This study shows the bacteria left on cans after you clean them with your clothes, a napkin, or hand sanitizer. It's surprising how many microbes can accumulate in a simple can. Watch a popcorn kernel pop up close. The process of turning into popcorn is quite the slow-motion spectacle, and it's amazing to see this little natural explosion happen. The unicorn is Scotland's national animal, a choice that is associated with nobility, courage, as well as purity and innocence in Celtic mythology, a mystical and meaningful symbol. This is what Chewbacca from Star Wars would look like without his signature mane. Definitely a drastic change for this iconic character. This is Sony's new microsurgery robot. Watch it perform a suture on a simple kernel of corn. This robot will be used to perform extremely delicate operations on small tissues, such as veins and nerves. A great innovation in the field of medicine. The most common surname in the world is Lee, with approximately 107 million people sharing this name. In the United States, the most common last name is Smith. Did you know that it ranks 130th on the world's list of most common last names? Check out Lylan Bez's amazing makeup. Here's how she manages to create these incredible looks. It's amazing what can be done with a little makeup and a lot of creativity. This is how long it takes a robot to solve a Rubik's Cube. Don't blink or you'll miss it. There you go. Anom created the world's smallest book, and it's so tiny that it's only 2 by 5 millimeters. To put it into perspective, it's smaller than a coin and fits in a Lego figure's hand. Carom is a game similar to billiards but played with your fingers. It's very popular in India, and to win, the player must pocket all the pieces of one color. It looks pretty fun. In Japan, there is a gyoza-flavored drink. From the reaction of those who try it, it seems that it is not very appetizing. Would you dare to try it? This is an ultra-realistic version of the Simpsons characters, created with artificial intelligence. Here are Homer, Lisa, Bart, and Milhouse looking much more human. It's impressive what technology can achieve. This is the largest firework ever recorded on video. The spectacle it creates in the sky is simply spectacular. Synchronized swimmers use gelatin in their hair to keep it in place during competitions. This is how they achieve that flawless look even in the water. The Dolphin Man Sandram is an expert in body surfing, which means that he surfs without a board, just with his body. His skill in the waves is truly impressive. During the 1912 Olympics, a Japanese marathon runner dropped out of the competition and returned to his country without informing the judges. He was considered missing in Sweden for 50 years, until he was invited to complete the marathon in 1966. His official time, 54 years, 8 months, 6 days, 5 hours, 32 minutes, and 20 seconds. Can you believe Puma collaborated with Cheetos? The result of this curious collaboration comes in a bag similar to those of potato chips. This is what the Power Rangers Megazord would look like if it was fused with the ground unit 01 from Evangelion. This device, called the Sauce Engine, lives up to its name by moving sauces or liquids off any surface effortlessly. While impressive, who would really spend money on something like this? The optical illusion of facial distortion makes these completely normal faces look disfigured if you keep your gaze focused on a red dot in the center. Try it, and when you pause the video, you'll realize that they are normal faces. It's just your brain playing a joke. Romanda Julie designed this machine that she called the emitter. It's a set of computer-controlled droppers that gradually release drops of paint. The effect achieved by sliding the paint is incredibly hypnotic. This material uses a series of lenses to bend light around it, making it almost invisible. A fascinating technology that looks like something out of a science fiction movie. Did you know that there is a beauty pageant called Miss Artificial Intelligence? None of the nominees are real. They were all computer-generated. It's the first beauty pageant to crown fake humans. The Scilly Isles have the smallest football league in the world, with only 2 teams competing against each other between 14 and 20 times per season. A truly unique championship. Did you know that you can use your fingers and hands to take approximate measurements? For example, closing your fist is equivalent to about 10 centimeters, and by extending certain fingers, you can measure approximately 5 centimeters, 2 centimeters, or even 1 centimeter. A handy way to estimate distances. With the help of artificial intelligence, here's a sample of what celebrities like Shakira, Tom Cruise, David Beckham, and others would look like if they were of different races. It's amazing to see how a person's appearance can change so much. Osmium is the densest and rarest material on the planet. To obtain this small amount of osmium, more than 180 tons of rock need to be processed. A truly extraordinary element. Some McDonald's in China have incorporated stationary bikes instead of table seating. According to Harvard University, cycling at a speed of 11.8 miles per hour burns about 300 calories in 30 minutes. So you could burn a few calories while enjoying your McNuggets. Heinz created tattoo ink in the same color as its famous ketchup. A fun idea for fans of this iconic brand. Have you ever wondered how they create those creepy sounds in horror movies? To do so, they use an instrument called the Nightmare Machine, which produces those hair-raising, chilling sounds. This is the world's most expensive burger, costing $55,000. It was created in Holland by Robert John Den and includes champagne battered onion rings, Wagyu beef, king crab, caviar, and a gold leaf covered bun. It is now possible to print brain tissue with a 3D printer. A team of researchers at the University of Wisconsin-Madison has developed fully functional brain tissue that can make connections just like human brain tissue does. An impressive advance in medical science. This is the world's smallest television with a screen of just 0.98 inch. It comes with a built-in USB flash drive so you can save your favorite videos and shows on it. In this video, you can see how a Dutch team made the longest bicycle in the world. It's over 55 meters long, almost 15 meters longer than the previous record. Believe it or not, our fingerprints are formed before we are even born. Fingerprints start forming around 10 weeks into pregnancy. They are unique to each person, meaning that no matter how many years pass, your prints will still be the same as when you were a baby. So if you ever lose something, make sure it's not your fingerprint. Pizzas are actually not Italian, but Greek. Although pizza is known as an Italian dish, its origins date back to ancient Greece. There, a flatbread was cooked with various toppings on top. When the Romans conquered Greece, they brought this idea to Italy, where it evolved into the pizza we know today. So the next time you enjoy a pizza, remember to thank the Greeks for your dinner. In the 19th century, an inventor named Lamarcus Thompson created the first roller coasters in the United States. These roller coasters were designed as a fun and safe alternative to dance halls and bars, which were considered places of sin at the time. Just imagine, roller coasters were born to have fun without you having to hide from prejudices. Before modern clocks existed, people used hourglasses to measure time. These clocks worked by letting sand slowly fall from one container to another. Once all the sand had fallen, time had passed. Although they are not as common today, they are still a classic symbol of time. The internet, which we use for everything today, was originally created as a project of the United States Department of Defense in the 1960s. Its goal was to connect computers to share information between the military. No one imagined then that it would become a tool that we would all use on a daily basis. The first escalator was patented in 1892 by an inventor named Jesse Reno. Although its design was quite rudimentary compared to modern escalators, it was the beginning of an innovation that we find in almost every shopping mall and subway station today. In fact, thanks to Jesse Reno, we don't have to fear long stairs anymore. Zero wasn't always considered a number. Although zero is a fundamental part of mathematics today, the ancient Greeks and Romans didn't have a symbol for it. It was in India, around the 5th century, that zero began to be used as a number, and this idea spread to the rest of the world. Morse code was invented in the 19th century to send messages over long distances using only dots and dashes. This system was used to communicate secretly, especially during wars. Each letter of the alphabet has a specific combination of dots and dashes, allowing messages to be sent without being easily understood by others. Compasses point north because they follow the Earth's magnetic field. The Earth acts like a giant magnet, and compasses contain a magnetic needle that aligns with this field, causing it to always point towards magnetic north. This has helped explorers and navigators for centuries. So next time you use a compass, thank the Earth for not losing you along the way. Astronauts on the International Space Station see 16 sunrises and sunsets a day. The space station orbits the Earth at a speed of about 17,400 miles per hour, so astronauts on board can see a sunrise or sunset approximately every 45 minutes. We should be envious of its stunning views, but not so much of the constant time changes. Coins have striped edges for a historical reason. In ancient times, coins were made of precious metals such as gold or silver, and some people would scrape the edges to get a bit of the metal. To prevent this, coins began to be made with ridged edges, making it obvious if someone had tampered with them. The first sunglasses were worn by the Inuit in the Arctic region more than 2,000 years ago. They were not like modern glasses, but strips of bone or wood with narrow slits for the eyes. These slits protected the eyes from the intense sunlight reflected off the snow. Tornadoes can have multiple vortices. Sometimes a single tornado can have several smaller vortices spinning around its main center. These mini tornadoes can move at high speed and cause additional damage within the area affected by the main tornado. It's like tornadoes have little dance partners who also want to do their part in the chaos. Atomic clocks are the most accurate in the world. An atomic clock is so accurate that it only loses 1 second every 100 million years. These clocks work by using the vibration of atoms, such as those in cesium, to measure time with incredible precision. Thanks to these clocks, we can enjoy very precise GPS and telecommunication systems. The rubber used in tires and many other products was originally discovered by indigenous peoples in South America. They extracted latex from trees and used it to waterproof their clothes and make balls. Europeans were not aware of rubber until they brought it back to Europe in the 15th century. Never underestimate the ingenuity of ancient cultures. The first type of vending machine was invented by a Greek engineer named Hero of Alexandria in the 1st century. His machine dispensed holy water in temples in exchange for a coin. When someone inserted a coin, the weight activated a mechanism that released the water. Who would have thought that the first vending machine did not offer snacks, but something much more spiritual? The oldest cheese in the world is over 3,200 years old. Archaeologists discovered a piece of cheese in an Egyptian tomb that is over 3,200 years old. This cheese was so well preserved that scientists were able to identify it, although it is no longer edible. It is impressive to know that the love of cheese is an ancient tradition. Paper money was invented in China over 1,000 years ago during the Tang Dynasty. Before that, people used metal coins or even things like salt or spices to exchange goods. Paper money became popular because it was easier to carry around than heavy coins. Dry ice is not water, it is frozen carbon dioxide. When exposed to air, instead of melting like regular ice, it turns directly into a gas, creating a white smoke effect. This phenomenon is called sublimation, and that is why dry ice is often used in special effects to create fog. So if you ever see a mysterious fog, chances are it's not magic, but dry ice. Before electronic calculators existed, people used abacuses to perform calculations. The abacus, which has a structure of movable beads on rods, has been used from ancient China to the present day in some parts of the world. Although calculators have taken their place today, the abacus is still an excellent educational tool for teaching math. The first text messages were sent in 1992, and they said Merry Christmas. The first text message was sent by a British engineer named Neil Papworth over a mobile phone network. Crayfish can survive out of water for several days. Although these crustaceans live in water, they can breathe air and survive without water for a limited time. This allows them to move through mud and seek out new habitats. An amazing ability for a small crustacean that also has a great talent for escaping predators. Spiders have more than 8 legs because they are arthropods. Although they are often feared, spiders have a body structure that includes 2 main parts and 8 legs, making them very efficient at catching prey and moving across various terrains. Bats are the only mammals that can actively fly. Although other animals, such as insects and birds, also fly, bats are unique among mammals for their ability to fly. Their wings are made up of thin skin stretched between the bones of their fingers. So when you see a bat in the sky, you are watching a wonder of nature in action. Jellyfish have been around for over 500 million years. These marine organisms are some of the oldest living things on the planet. Their ability to adapt to different environments and survive extreme environmental changes is incredible. They're like the dinosaurs of the ocean, but without the huge size and extinction. Honey never spoils. Archaeologists have found honey in Egyptian tombs that is thousands of years old and is still edible. This is because of its low water content and high acidity, which prevents the growth of bacteria. So if you have a jar of honey in your pantry for years, don't hesitate to use it. Elephants are the only animals that cannot jump. Although they are extremely strong and agile for their size, elephants do not have the physical ability to jump. Their bones are adapted to support their great weight, not to jump. Imagine an elephant jumping. It would be a truly impressive sight. The record for the fastest object launched by man is a fragment of a spaceship. During the Apollo 10 mission, a fragment of a spacecraft was launched at a speed of over 24,233 miles per hour. The lowest temperature ever recorded on Earth was minus 128 degrees Fahrenheit at the Soviet Vostok station in Antarctica in 1983. This record for extreme cold proves how inhospitable our planet can be in certain places. So next time you complain about the cold, just remember that it could be much worse. Sharks have been around for over 400 million years. They have survived multiple mass extinctions and have evolved to become some of the most efficient predators in the ocean. They are true survivors of the marine world. Oxygen is colorless, odorless, and tasteless. The first recorded video in history lasts only 2.5 seconds. It was filmed by Thomas Edison in 1891 and shows a man making a small nod with his head. Although short, it marked the beginning of the film industry, a piece of history that proved that even the shortest moments can have a big impact. Dolphins have names. Dolphins have been found to use specific whistles to identify each other, suggesting that they have a form of name that allows them to recognize each other. An amazing ability that shows how intelligent these magnificent marine animals are. Shooting stars are not stars, but fragments of meteorites that enter the Earth's atmosphere. When these fragments burn up as they enter the atmosphere, they light up and become the bright trails we see in the sky. So when you see a shooting star, you are watching a little piece of space disintegrate. Coffee is the second most traded commodity in the world after oil. Because of its global popularity, coffee has a significant economic impact on many countries. It's amazing how such a common drink can have such an influence on the world's economy. It takes about 8 minutes and 20 seconds for sunlight to reach Earth. This is how long it takes light to travel the distance from the sun to our planet. So every time you look at the sun, you're seeing what it was like a little over 8 minutes ago. Flamingos get their pink color from pigments in their diet. They eat algae and crustaceans that contain pigments called carotenoids, which break down in their system and give them their signature color. Who knew that a flamingo's color is directly related to its menu? Horses have a vision range of almost 360 degrees. This means that they can see behind them without moving their head, thanks to the position of their eyes on the sides of their head, a trick of vision that helps them to always be alert to their surroundings. The word nerd was popularized by Dr. Seuss in his book, If I Ran the Zoo, in 1950. Although it was used to describe an odd character in the book, it became a term to refer to people who were passionate about intellectual or technical subjects. A case where children's literature had an unexpected impact on language. The human body has approximately 206 bones, but at birth we have 300. Some bones fuse together as we grow, resulting in the final number of bones in the adult body. So if you ever feel bony, remember that your body is adjusting over time. Venus is the only planet that rotates clockwise. It travels around the sun once every 225 Earth days, but rotates clockwise once every 243 days. Fingerprints are not the only unique prints in humans. The prints on the soles of the feet are also unique to each person. They are often used in forensic investigation, so be sure to watch your feet. You never know when they will turn out to be an important clue. Penguins can fly underwater. Although they cannot fly in the air, they are exceptional swimmers and move at high speeds underwater, as if they were flying in an underwater environment. An impressive ability that makes them unique in the animal kingdom. The first 3D printers printed chocolate. Although today 3D printers are used to create all sorts of things from houses to prosthetics, the first commercial models were designed to print chocolate in custom shapes. Who knows, maybe the next big invention will be a printer that makes your favorite chocolate at home. Pigs are very intelligent and can learn to do tricks. Pigs have been shown to have intelligence comparable to that of a dog. They can learn to play simple games and perform tricks. Never underestimate a pig's ability to impress with its intellect. Sound cannot travel in the vacuum of space. Since sound needs a medium to propagate, it can't travel in the vacuum of outer space. So in space, it's actually quiet, despite what sci-fi movies show. Plants can communicate with each other. Through an underground network of fungi and chemical signals, plants can send messages about threats and resources to other plants. An amazing way nature stays connected and cooperative. One of the most extreme roller coasters in the world is located in the Netherlands. Riders can control how extreme their ride is by rotating the wings of their stroller. I think I would get on this one. Alex has created an incredible flight simulator in his home called Alex Air. This cabin has seats that belong to a real airplane and has a lighting and air conditioning system. Screens behind the windows can show videos of a list of airports, offering a realistic flight experience. On the surface of Mars, there is a crater that seems to smile. A curious image that has caught the attention of space explorers. What facts surprised you the most? Leave your opinion in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content.